Thanks for tuning into the Scope podcast. We have another episode today, and today I have a special guest, Mr. Jayson Williams. He's a former college football player, and we'll be talking about Matthew Slukas, the UNLV quarterback, who pretty much left his team because he didn't get the NIL money he was promised. So we'll kind of get into that today. How you doing, good sir?
I'm doing well. Can't complain, on this blessed Sunday, and I'm, glad that I'm able to, join and, give my opinion and discuss, with you.
Okay, did you catch the games yesterday?
Yeah, no, I definitely caught, some of that Alabama-Georgia game, was able to see what Ryan Williams was doing, especially at his age of 17. Definitely was crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Especially in Travis Hunter played the game he played last night. That was incredible. But
What about you? What about yourself? What games were you able to check out?
I just pretty much watched those two games. I watched the Alabama-Georgia game, and I watched the Colorado game. I forgot who they played. But I watched that game, UCF. So they played Central Florida.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this UNLV quarterback situation? Do you think he has an obligation to his team, or do you think he made the right decision as far as he didn't get his NIL money, so he just, sit out a year?
I mean, the team started out 3-0, and, it's a team efforts, but, a lot of it was coming down to, how he performed on the field. And when it comes to college players, especially not a big name school as like UNLV, what I'm saying? They've been irrelevant since Larry Johnson was over there in the 90s. So,
Yeah.
When you get that opportunity to where you're able to, make money, it's not crazy type of money, but it's money that, you wouldn't even imagine that somebody from UNLV would have gotten 10 years, 15 years ago. So, in a way, it makes you feel some type of way. And it's already a 1% chance of you making it to the NFL. You gotta get it how you get it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, definitely.
And you gotta definitely put your financial mindset or do what's best for you, because if you don't, then you just end up with nothing. So that's really my opinion with that.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing. I was like, man, this might be his only time to capitalize on any kind of financial gain. And, like I said, I only played Little League. I didn't play high school or college. But I know those players put their lives at risk. You put your mental health at risk. You put your overall health at risk. So for a lot of people to say that, he's obligated to his team, it's not the whole story. He has to think about his family and going forward. But what do you think about, he might have lost his leverage as far as being an NFL prospect as far as the draft goes? Because if he was to take UNLV to a bowl game or a national championship, that might raise his draft stock. So what are your thoughts about that as far as, his draft stock is concerned?
I mean, I think I get where he's coming from. Of all right, I'm not Shador Sanders. I'm not about to be the number one pick, or I'm not at the most maybe get selected 7th round. You know what I'm saying? So I might as well take the risk and get some financial gain to where I can at least, if I don't even make it to the NFL, or if I end up playing for the CFL or the USFL, I can at least have some type of startup. You know what I'm saying? I can take 100 NIL and go start up a business, or go put some investments down. You know what I'm saying? Had that guaranteed money, then worry about the less than 5% of me making it to an NFL team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man, I was thinking, I don't know why I thought the exact same thing. Most people say, man, that's 100,000, but do you know if that money's taxed, the NIL money?
I don't know all of the details of that. So when it comes to players getting paid, there's a lot of that goes into it. Me personally, I'm saying, coming from a division two, the money that we got was from tax returns, and that's what you see
Oh, yeah.
go their tax return money. But like, I just like having friends that, play D1 and like, what I'm saying, at, big
Hmm.
time schools, you know, they they got checks. It's just that it wasn't
Yeah.
checks that they get now.
But was it more of under the table, or was it more like documented? Because I would imagine it would have been more under the table back then, prior
Yeah,
to the
I mean,
NIL stuff.
more of like, okay, this is what, like, coach, this is what my bills are for the month. You know what I'm saying? And then you get your statement, like, okay, this is how much I'm going to give you, and then however you spend it is how you spend it. So
Oh,
you know
okay.
what I'm saying, and then
So
like
it's more like a refund check.
type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But what do you think about like people saying the NIL? People like Nick Saban and stuff saying that the NIL might hurt the competition of the league because players are playing for play now and they're not staying with teams long term. Do you think it's hurting the competition for for the NCAA, or do you think it's just hurting competition for the coaches' own purpose?
I feel like you can look at it from both sides, and I feel like if you look at it from the side of like Nick Saban, who's like, you know, he was accustomed to getting all the recruits
Hmm.
because I coach at Alabama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think with the NII, I think it opens up, a lot for a lot of schools. You know what I'm saying? And I really do enjoy the fact that kids are actually, because how much money these schools are making off these kids. Like, I do not care about,
Yeah.
like, what I'm saying, Alabama's making
Hundreds
millions
of
and millions.
millions.
Yeah, like, and like they're not seeing a dime from it. Like, no, these kids finally deserve it. So like, and you can say all of that with the whole competition, but like if you look at the NFL, NBA, it's basically like free agency. So you can't even
Yeah.
like you can't even really say that. I think it's just gonna come down to a lot of getting used to. But it's really, if you look at it, the outside looking in, it's basically free agency for college football.
Damn, I didn't even think of it that way. But it's most of the time it's the owners, it's the coaches, and it's the people who
Yeah,
have something to gain. Um, so they have something to gain financially too, right? So if I keep these players, I can win more championships, I can win more games, I
yeah,
have more coaching stability. In the end, I'll have that financial
yeah.
stability.
But
But
that,
when players get the control, they want to be like, well, it's getting out of hand now.
and my comment when it comes to that too, yeah, I definitely agree because like, and I think it all comes down to how good of a coach are you. If you're a personal
Hmm.
coach and players want to play for you, that money not gonna matter. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's a good way to
Yep.
look at it.
Yeah, because I was looking at it from like Belichick, for example. Like he was my favorite coach, and then when Tom Brady left, he got kind of exposed. I mean, he made the playoffs that one year, but how good are these coaches for the most part? I mean, you got like Steve Kerr. If he lose Steph Curry, is he? I don't think he. Do you think he still be making the playoffs? Because I don't think he will be. It's about the players. The coaches can put you in the right play
Just,
call in the right position, but at the same time, if you don't have somebody to execute it, it won't mean nothing.
yeah, nah, I mean,
I can
100%.
give you the perfect pass off a screen, but if you miss the shot, it's all for naught. So I don't know. I just thought this situation was kind of interesting because I wonder if it's going to be more of this coming down the line. But most people say he should have got the money up front because most of these, 5 stars and 4 stars are getting their money up front before they even set foot on campus.
Yeah, and I
But you
think
got the flip side.
that's where it's like, if and that's where the difference, because it's like, for example, all right, it's just a simple fact is that UNLV, like if it was at like a school like Texas A&M, Texas, like you wouldn't see this happening.
No, because they got it.
Mm.
They would have gave him 100,000 in one blink,
Off the
but
bat.
off the bat. But then once again, I don't know what his he was a transfer from Holy Cross. So that was what, Division 2,
Yeah, no, it's Division 1 AA. So it's like
Division 1 AA,
small D1 school.
small D1 school. So I don't even know if like a Texas or Texas A&M would have took him. I mean, he looks like a good quarterback. His stats been pretty crazy. I mean, he did BKU and he pulled it upset, and so I don't know what kind of quarterback he is. But every year in these drafts, they overplay their hand with these quarterbacks. They're like, well, this quarterback, showed this promise and he has this ceiling, and then they get to the league and probably only 5% of the ones get drafted that year turn out. But
No, that's a fact.
yep. So that was our topic for today. Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast.